No Doubt Fatherhood podcast. So it is July right now, and we are talking about camping. We've just recently got back from a elaborate, legendary camping trip, so we want to kind of break that down. And I think, at least for me, I'm using the excuse of camping really to talk about why it's really important to spend a lot of time with your family outdoors. So I think that's kind of what I'm hoping to get across today. But yeah, let's start with camping. How was the experience for you, Sam? How was camping with the family?
I mean, the trip that we've done this year and last year, which is basically a full week around July 4th, I couldn't imagine a better setup, even if I tried.
Yeah.
Like just for your imagination, and we'll do videos and stuff, but it's basically like this insane meadow that we take over. And by take over, like Cole goes up there days before to like scout out the location, make sure there's nobody there, then
Yep.
puts down like fake tents and like a whole setup to fully take over this meadow.
Yeah, and if you're a ranger for the National Forest Department, I am not there any earlier than 14 days. Okay, I know how long I'm allowed to be there. So yeah, just want to
Um,
say that.
so we fully take over this like flower-filled meadow that's right up against a babbling brook.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just the best. It's like snow runoff
Yep.
in a creek.
And it's like fast enough flow for the kids to have fun, but not fast enough for us really to worry, other
Yeah,
than like the really babies,
yeah,
But like all the toddlers, because we roll deep, we have multiple families that come along on this trip. But it's like just ideal for like 4, 5, 6, 7 year olds. It's like heaven, right? I mean, one of my sons, I think, was in that creek for like 4 days straight.
yeah,
So anyway,
yeah.
yeah, the setting is awesome. It's offset from the road, so you're not worried about like trucks and side by sides, right? It's like there's enough distance there. So anyway, yeah, spot is epic, and in full disclosure, most of us were in travel trailers, so we're not like roughing it too
Yeah.
big time. Um, but yeah, and then what do we have? Like 4 or 5 families. I mean, 20 plus kids for sure.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
it's as soon as we get there, every single kid is basically down to just like their shorts,
immediately.
bare
Yep.
feet, shirtless, covered in dirt and mud. I mean, like literally unrecognizable, just like fully just savages the whole time we're there.
Yeah.
And that's part. I mean, that's part of what we'll get to in this is the idea that you can just go outside and in the right environment, you really don't have to do anything. It's just like we're not watching our kids when we're there.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. I mean, we're kind of making sure we can see them, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, where's Bo? Oh, he's up the creek somewhere, trying to
Yep.
catch fish
Yep.
or, so it's, that's the vibe. Parents are hanging out, talking around the fire, making food. There's just full on kitchen food tents. It's a full on compound,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Um, yeah. And what we've done this now 2 years in a row or three?
2 years.
2 years.
These are our first 2 years for the next couple decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like the kids talk about it forever,
Yeah.
like, so, and we were talking a little bit before the podcast. I think the other, thing that I like, I mean, there's many benefits from this, right? But to me, anything you can do, obviously in 2025, we're so far removed from what we used to be as human beings, right? I mean, we're indoors all the time. We're in front of computers and blue screens all the time.
Yep.
Our kids are, unfortunately, too, a lot. So anything you can do to like share time with them, living in more of a primal way, I think it's just such a key to bonding, right? So like in other episodes, we're going to get into hunting. In other episodes, we'll get into boat life, and then obviously we're covering camping today. But really, the common denominator is we're outside in Mother Nature, in the elements with our family for hours and hours or days and days.
Yeah.
And you can't help but bond on like some pretty like old school levels.
Yeah.
You know.
And the one feeling that I came away from that thinking about, like the overwhelming thought when we left, was that there was literally no place that I or our kids would rather be while we were there. it wasn't a thing where it's I can't wait to get back home so I can watch TV or play with this toy again, or whatever. There
Mm-hmm.
was that was it. If we told them that we were staying there for the rest of our lives, they'd have been like, yes, like
Yeah.
and same for me. Like I could stay there for my entire life.
Yep.
That's how good it is. And so there's something to be said. No matter what you believe in, it's just there's something about we are meant to be in that environment,
Mm-hmm.
and just all the things kind of work themselves out in that environment. We were talking about sleep, how your kids behave. We actually weren't sleeping well because of the trailer configuration, but
Mm-hmm.
that was a separate issue.
Yep.
Our kids were sleeping, typically great in that environment. But yeah, just being out in the sun all day, eating good food, moving around all day long, um, being around other people, doing stuff with their friends. There was no sense of can't wait to get home or can't wait to get back in my clean bed or whatever. They were totally covered in dirt the whole time,
Yeah.
and they were so stoked.
Yeah, and that's really I think why we want to do this episode is we wanted to kind of inspire or encourage like maybe your family, maybe you're not living that camp life right now. And I again, I don't know of a better way to spend days and days on end with your family than that because of what you just said. Like you don't want it to end. You're in the moment. You're spending quality time together and and so I think that in all fairness, right? Like I think there's a couple of ways to do it. Sometimes our wives are resistant to it, right? So if you're out there and listening, you're like, yeah, I'd love to camp, but my wife's not down, right? Um, I know for me, when we first had kids, we were in Oregon, and I kept trying to tent camp with Ashley, and with two, three, four kids, toddlers, diapers, cooking, like that was not fun for her, right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was like cheating, but we ended up buying a travel trailer, and guess what? Like my wife enjoyed camping a lot more, and so I think that there are ways to do it that can be easier, maybe on your wife too, and that's one of them for sure. So, and then, but like Sam, right? You guys rented a trailer, and I know you've had some like mixed kind of experiences with that. But again, like I think for some families, that's like not the wrong way to go. Where it's like, yeah, I can't fully invest in a travel trailer. It's like, okay, but could you rent one for 3 days or 4 days, like to just kind of get out there and test the waters and stuff and make sure your wife has a good experience and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Well, I think when we were first talking about this, before we even had the podcast, I think the big idea, it's not just camping, it's just about making it normal to be outside with your kids, going on hikes. We call them rambles here. Just winter, summer, whatever. Our neighbors all think that we're freaks because doesn't matter the weather outside. We're outside as a family, going on walks.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are riding their bikes through the snow, and we live in a suburb. They don't, but people see us. Our kids are like barefoot out in the snow. Like crazy stuff like that. They're covered in dirt at home. But the idea of we were talking about when you have younger kids, what do you do with them when you're watching them, and maybe you can't think of a cool activity. It's just like, dude, go outside, go take them hiking, put them in an environment where they can play and explore safely, but they're outside in nature. Most families are very much like that is this kind of separate thing that is a very rare, it's like a big deal. Like, oh, we're going to go on a hike. So we're going to go to REI and get like, proper gear. And it's a big deal. It's an event that happens once every couple months
Mm-hmm.
versus, I mean, it's just all the stars align when you're out hiking with your family, dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
your kids behave better. Everyone's happy to be out there. Everyone's energized. Everyone's mood improves. And so the summer in Idaho is insane. It's so good. And so obviously that's part of why we're excited to talk about it. But, we're doing camping right now. You just did a backpacking trip in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the boat once a week.
Yep.
Um, I don't want to blow you up, but jet skiing has potentially entered the picture as well.
My neighbor has a jet ski, and he let me ride it the other day, and I want to be Kenny Powers now on a jet ski. Yeah, no, yeah, and like Sam said, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while on the podcast, just to kind of share And by the way, if you're listening to this, like we love comments, right? So wherever you're listening to this, put in comments and because we want to hear from you on other stuff. But for me, since I had my first baby, if Ashley, my wife, was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get my nails done, or I need to go run errands. Can you watch the kid?" Like, for a lot of us, the easy button when our wives want us to watch the kids is to like plop them in front of a
Right.
TV and they watch cartoons, and then you plop yourself in front of the laptop or whatever, and like, yeah, you can do that, but is that really helping anybody? And so what I would do is I would get a couple of like bush crafting things. And when I say bush crafting, I just mean like a lighter, a knife, a tarp, maybe a little Helinox Zero chair. And like, I'd be like, okay, Wyatt, okay, Bridger, we're going to go out in the woods. And I would literally just drive out to the national forest. Okay.
Yep.
We would get out and I would be like, all right, we're going to start a fire,
Yep.
or we're going to build a shelter, or we're going to just look for frogs, right? Sometimes like the kids will lead it. But the point is before you know it, instead of like taking them for 3 hours, you've taken them for 6 hours or 7 hours, and your wife comes home and she's even more stoked because you've given her a longer break. And guess what? You were just out with your kids for 6, 7 hours. And trust me, they don't like, you don't need to even have an agenda. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to go hiking, you don't have to see the sights. You can literally just find a cool little spot along a creek, and they will be about that for
Totally.
ever.
Yeah.
And the earlier you set this up, the better, right?
Yep.
Because like my oldest is now 13, but again, I've been rambling with him since he was 2, 3 years old. I had the little kid carrier
Yeah.
backpack, and we just rock it. And so even now at 13, he needs more of a purpose to be out there. But like, I'm still hiking with my 5-year-old and my 8-year-old, and it's so great because I'm still getting to experience just the magic of them, just again, just going with the flow, being in the moment, not needing a purpose.
Yep.
So I'm like adjusting it for my 13-year-old and my 10-year-old. I'm having to give them more purpose to be out there fishing or hunting or whatever. They want purpose. But when they're young, the beauty is they don't care at all. They're with you and they're like having fun. And then what's really cool is you start implementing and introducing tools to them, right?
Yeah.
So like, another sponsor we need is Opinol. Shout out to Opinol.
Wait, what's that?
So they make, I think they're in France. They make these little knives, right? And they're
Oh,
they're
right.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
really good pocket knives for kids, because like the first one we get is a rounded
Yep.
blade. Like on the top, there's no point.
Brooks has one of those.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you lock it out and you teach them how to whittle, and they think they're like the biggest boy ever because they're like, dude, I have
Yeah.
a knife, right? And now they're whittling, right? And then you're like, you take the shavings of the whittling and like, hey, we're going to use that as kindling, and here's how we're going to build this fire, and like they think it's the coolest thing ever,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it gets a little cold, and you like have a fire there, and you're like sitting around a fire again. All of this primal stuff that like again just doesn't exist anymore for us because
Yeah.
the need isn't there. Um, Man, I can't think of deeper bonding than when you're just outdoors.
I mean, dude, I've sat with Brooks in front of a creek and thrown leaves into the creek and watched them float, like go down for hours.
Yep.
When he was, whatever, 2 years old. That was the most exciting thing ever.
Yep.
And that's all we did.
Yeah.
And in no place he would have rather been.
Yeah.
When we had Ada, our daughter, this is, a year ago, it's a big transition for our boys, right? It's a new baby in the house. And, Raquel needed time to herself and just time to rest. So what did I do? Every single day, almost the entire day, I would take Brooks and Rudy out to I would take them out to, we have lots of cool parks around here, but I'd take them out to the park for hours at a time. I think I remember I sent you a picture. We built like a fort in the snow one time, like it was snowing out. It was in March. We like built a snow shelter. We would just go like throw stuff in the river.
Yep.
I take them legit hiking. I put Rudy in the backpack and we'd go hiking for hours. Every single day, dude, for hours we'd be out. And that was probably the only thing that saved us from it not being just like complete pandemonium in our house with our boys just like fighting and screaming all day, which they do. Like when this is a struggle we're having right now in our suburban home, is that our boys are getting older and it's just like, it's a pandemonium in our house. Like they're just fighting and just like they're being crazy inside because they want to be outside and they want to be unleashed,
Yeah.
and we can't really provide that for them where we are right now.
Yep.
And so you take them to a place like this, and that's where they want to be, and so they were so much better behaved in that time because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of the sadness of like kind of what suburbia has created, right? Is in suburbia, and again, we don't need to go down this rabbit hole, but it's like put them in front of video
Yeah.
games, right? Put them in front of things like that. And it's like, um, so for some of us, right, we lived in a neighborhood before we moved here. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, same thing. I'm just jumping in the truck. I'm driving somewhere. I want it to be wild. I want it to be as remote as I can be. If you're in the middle of Brooklyn and all you can do is a park, that's good. But if you can find BLM land or national forest land or whatever, and just again go off trail a bit, like get them into a place that's as wild as you can
Yeah.
find. And again, you don't have to do much. You do not have to do much. The kid will kind of help you flow. It's and by the way, the other thing that I think we've both been intentional about is limiting screen time, because the more screen time kids have, the less interesting and exciting nature will be, right? It's like
Right.
you're trying to have, nature compete with crack cocaine,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, so
100%.
you're going to do yourself a favor if you really like, if you and your wife can be on the same page about, really trying to limit screen time to the bare minimum. The woods is going to be that much more magical to them, because I have friends that bring their kids out to the woods and they're just so bored and they just don't like it at all, and they don't get it, and it's sad. It's sad because uh, again, they're used, you can tell they're just used to screens and they're used to media,
Yeah.
and they're used to that versus. So if you're a new dad, I can tell you right now, I can't tell you a more important tip, a piece of advice than what has worked for me, which is again a easy way to give your wife lots and lots of breaks and also spend quality time with your kids is just drive them out to the woods.
Yeah.
And you'll start figuring out, like, what do you enjoy more too? Like my kids just, they love building fires. They love it. So anytime it's cold, like, we're not doing this in July, but like the whole fall and the whole winter, like every time we go out there, we're building a fire.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden my kids built hundreds of fires, right? They know what type of woods they're looking for. They know what type of kindling. And then with that, right? Okay, well, it's, January. Well, let's show you how to string up a tarp too. And then all of a sudden, and then like, and then we're cooking out there. Hey, can we bring some other stuff?
Yeah.
So again, you can take it however far you want to take it. But I'll tell you what, on my deathbed, some of my favorite memories are me just walking out in the woods with my kids.
I bet it'll be the same for them.
Yeah.
Those will be their cherished memories with you.
Yeah.
So you just got back from backpacking with goats.
Yeah. So you know me, I can't just kind of do stuff normally. And so at a certain point, because and this is another piece too, a lot of us are having kids older, right? And so like I'm 44 right now. My youngest is 5. I was doing the math. I'm like, dang, I'm going to be old when he's like 20. But anyway, I really love backpacking. I really love hunting. I want to be able to hunt with them and keep up with them, until for a long time. And so I invested in goats. Believe it or not, if you're not familiar with this whole world, you can actually pack gear on goats. So each of my goats will carry like 50 pounds of gear. And so you can, if you get a deer or an elk out there in the woods, they'll help you pack out the meat, or you can just bring in gear. And in the summertime, when we're scouting or when we're just backpacking, fishing, they're carrying all your stuff. So yeah, so we did 3 nights, 4 days. We saw maybe like 5 people total, in 4 days. And it was just magic. And they were comfortable out there because they had spent years out there, right? Just doing rambles. And so they know what to do out there. They know how to pass the time. And
Right.
so anyway, you know what I mean? It's just more in depth.
Yeah.
It's just, you're just layering in. Okay. I used to always walk in the woods with Dad. Well, now we're, sleeping in the woods several nights. And my wife, is not as into backpacking, and so it's an opportunity again for me to take the boys, and pretty soon I'm bringing my little girl too. She's about ready. And again, just I'll never forget this trip.
What type of what type of conversations do you guys have when you have days on end, just you guys? Like, what type of stuff comes up?
Oh wow. Yeah, whatever they want to talk about, you
Yeah.
know.
I just feel like there's like something to the idea of having extended, uninterrupted, unstructured time with your kids where there's no agenda
Mhm.
and just like the conversations and the kind of maybe the wisdom that you might get to share or topics that you don't usually get to talk about. Like, do you have kind of some of those moments where you guys get into stuff that maybe you wouldn't get into in your kitchen, that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't like off the top of my head right now. I couldn't be like there was this one conversation that like changed it. But what I noticed is again in the modern world, where you and me, we're on our phone. We're out of the moment. They're
Yeah.
out of the moment. And so the first day, my oldest son wanted he wanted an agenda. What are we doing, Dad? What are we
Yeah.
doing, Dad? And it was like we're doing it right now. Like we're sitting around. Let's go swimming. Like we were right along this really cool river. Like there's a swimming hole. There's fishing. But by day 2 and 3, right when they just ease into it, just the amount of like you said earlier, camping, you get the same thing. After a while, you're just in the moment.
Yeah.
You don't have the smartphone to go to. You don't have a distraction after distraction. And you could see all of us just easing into it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it was just like us just sitting there, right? In complete silence. So anyway,
That's cool too, man.
yeah,
I mean,
it
sometimes it's just being together and not saying anything.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, right now, I mean, half the time the conversation is, my two older boys bickering at each other too. So there's plenty of that. And
Yeah.
but yeah, and again, I think it's just different levels. Like for me, I feel most connected in life when I'm in nature. I feel the closest to God when I'm in nature. So I'm always seeking that. I'm always seeking more remote, deeper in, less people, less
Yeah.
distractions. And now my older kids are down to do that with me. So I'm so excited. But again, the place to start is when they're really, really young,
Yeah.
right? And car camping and all of that kind of stuff. And again, just spending a couple of hours like regularly. Like I love it. And I remember when Ada came and you were doing that with him. I remember you sending me stuff, and it's like I was so happy for you because it's like, again, it's just a core thing that I wish more dads would do
Yeah.
regularly with them, you know.
Yeah. It's funny. I was expecting you to have like a profound answer about what you guys talked about, but then as you talked through it, I realized that really is kind of the what makes it so cool is that you don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
The fact that you could spend time together in that environment, be present with them in that environment, not have an agenda, not have to talk about anything, that's such beautiful time together,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
was like we would wake up at sunrise. We had our little chairs around the fire. We'd build a fire in the morning. The fire would be coming. The sun would go up. We get like, we were outdoors for 5 days,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we were never in the tent other than the very last light. We'd go in the tent. We'd sleep until 6:30, and then we were outside, all day long for
Yeah.
days. I mean, what? How many kids get that nowadays, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know this isn't the episode to do it, but me and you have both been really looking into, and I know it's trendy and all of that, but it's like we've been looking into circadian rhythm. We've been looking into the research on how detrimental blue light is, especially to kids. We've both been really like trying to protect ourselves from staring at computer screens for 10 hours a day.
It's
And we've
true.
both had amazing results visually, like how our
Yeah,
eyesight
dude, my
is.
glasses, they're gone.
Yeah, look at that.
I've healed myself.
Sam has healed himself. But again, a lot of this comes down to we're designed, to essentially be outdoors lots and lots of time, and
Yeah.
that is not our reality anymore. And a lot of our problems and our ailments, including our children, are because we're indoors all the time and we have air conditioning and it's the easy button, right? And so again, I feel like you're just giving yourself and your kids a massive gift when you're like, no, no, no. Like
Yeah.
the other day we were at Chipotle, right? And literally it was 93 degrees out, and everyone was indoors, and I was like, let's go outdoors. And they're like, why? And it's like, because like no one else wants to do it. Let's just go eat outside. So we
Yeah.
ate outside, right? and I just want to get them to get comfortable. Like you
Yeah.
don't need air conditioning, blah, blah, blah. And then the next time we went to Chipotle and I'm all feeling all weak, like I want to sit indoors. And my 10-year-old's like, we're going
Go
outside, Dad. I
outside.
was like, okay. But it's like just like
Oh,
there's nothing more sad to me. Let's put it this way, and then I'll turn it over to you. My wife told me I cut you off too much, so
okay.
I apologize. Um, but one of the things that's sad to me is like when our friends come over to visit, and maybe they're from like larger cities, right? And our kids, we're always walking in the woods, especially we want to show our friends this area and stuff. But like my kids are bounding through the woods like Tarzan
Yeah.
and Mowgli. Like they're literally bounding through the woods like wild deer, and it's so sad when my friends bring their kids and they're like, Mom, can you help me navigate
Oh,
this like
dude, it's
log? Can you help me like walk? What is this? Oh, that's a creek. It's like it's a heartbreaker, because you just know deep down, like you don't have to be an expert at outdoor stuff to know that like these kids should be getting that too.
when we lived in Richmond, we used to go to this botanical garden. I forget what it's called right now, but it was great. And they'd have these like really nice climbable trees. And I remember seeing kids that were Wyatt's age, 12, 13 years old, trying to climb up on a branch that was waist high, and they couldn't do it,
Mm.
which is just hard. I mean, it's just like, how can that happen, dude? I know how it happens, but it's really hard to see in real life. Here's a 12, 13-year-old kid who already probably weighs 200 pounds, who literally can't lift his leg on top of a waist high log.
Yeah.
What do you think that's going to look like in 30 years,
Yeah.
40 years?
Yep.
That's rough, man. That's one thing that I can say that did not exist when I was growing up, dude. And I'm not that old. I'm whatever, 39.
Yep.
There weren't 13-year-olds that were obese that couldn't get on top of a 3-foot high log.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were, but like not like it is now, dude. And like no one knows what that's going to look like in the future.
Yeah.
Like what's going to happen to that kid, dude? Like,
Yep.
dang. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and the thing about it is, again, if you take nothing away from this episode, but obviously you're listening to Fatherhood podcast, so you're looking to like improve your game or get some tips or whatever. If your kid's really young, go buy a backpack that they can sit in, one of those kid
Yeah.
carriers. Grab a little tarp or something like that so you can get out of the weather, but not leave, but just sit there in the weather and just take your kids outdoors.
Yeah.
Because again,
Great point. The carrier is crucial.
well, and again, the point is that these parents that are coming, that are visiting, like they're great people. I love them. They're our friends, right? But the point is the dad is not spending a lot of time in the outdoors either,
Yeah.
right? And so this is again us just lovingly trying to remind dads, like our kids aren't going to do stuff that we're not doing first.
Yes.
So if you are not familiar with the outdoors, if you don't spend a lot of the time in the woods yet, maybe you should start doing that more.
Great
right?
point. Yeah.
Maybe it'll help you more, because I know that's what recharges me. That's how it started for me. Right?
Yeah.
Is like, wow, somehow I'm better as a husband. I'm better as a dad. I'm better as an employee when I spend more time outdoors.
Yep.
And so get out there more.
Another side effect, maybe a different way of saying what I said earlier, is that when you have your kids outside, like that backpacking trip you talked about, when you guys were out in that field together, there wasn't somewhere else that you guys wanted to get to or something that you wanted to do. And I think when you don't get yourself in that environment, because it's not fully satisfying, you're always looking for the thing that's going to fulfill you. So if I grew up in a city, I never spend time outside or in wild environments. I'm always like, well, clearly I need to get this like crazy career or this crazy car or possession or social media following to find fulfillment and to get to a place, get to the destination that I want.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in that environment of I'm out in the middle of the woods for a couple days, you have reached the destination, because that's where that's where you're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place beyond that that's better that I know of.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be happier you know, if you were able to get some like mansion and fancy car and all that stuff, like I have a hard time believing that in the moment in your big fancy mansion, looking at your social media thing with your fancy car, you're going to be happier than where you can go right now.
Yeah.
Like you can take your kids to the place right now that is potentially the most fulfilling place they will ever be.
Yeah, and like you said, you're going to see some footage of where we were, right? And you're absolutely right. Money can't buy where we were.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like so cool that our country has so much public land because it was like so incredible. And like you said, to show your kids, all you need is what you can carry on your back, or in
Yeah.
this case, on some goats. all you need is that, right? Like they weren't telling me about what they needed from Amazon Prime, or they weren't obsessing over some cool gadget or
Yeah.
toy. They literally had everything they needed for days, and they were implementing those things,
Yep.
right? It's like, okay. The other thing too is a dad that look, we all know that like so much of our safety in society is outsourced now by police officers or firefighters or whatever, right? There's also something really cool about your kid looking to you for protection, right? So like for instance, like, in the area we backpack, guess what? There's grizzly bears there.
Yeah.
Well, again, maybe if you're not familiar with outdoors, maybe you don't start there, but there as a father, I need to have security contingencies. I need to plan like, okay, well, what do we do to make sure we're safe? And there's something cool about your like again, a couple of times my 10-year-old like in the middle of the night in the tent would just kind of check in with me like, "Dad, are you there?" Like
Yeah.
he'd hear something.
Yeah.
Usually it was a goat. Luckily too, that's the other pro tip. If you're in bear country, they'll eat one of your goats probably before they come into your tent. So, you have an early warning system.
Or
But
it's like an appetizer for
yeah,
you.
but anyway, for him to check in with me, like, oh, dad's the protector,
Yeah.
right? And then again, brainstem stuff. Like, yeah, dude, I work on a computer doing TPS reports during the week, right? But when I'm out there in grizzly country with my two children that I
Right.
love more than
You're like
anything,
ancient protector. Yeah. Like,
dude,
yeah.
like that's fun. That's fun for a guy where a lot of that has been domesticated out of
Yeah.
you, right?
Yep.
As a father, put yourself in those positions. Yeah, you're gonna have to manufacture a lot of them in this day and age. But guess what, dude? When you're in a place where you're not top of the food chain, it will feel different, and you will want to step up your game, and you will figure out how to step up your game, right? It's like those things are priceless. And then what example are you showing to your kids, right? By doing that, it's like,
Yeah.
where can you get that in town?
No one cares about your TPS reports or your sprint velocity in the woods. You know what I mean?
Thank you. That's absolutely right.
I want to end with an anecdote that I think, I mean, the results speak for themselves. So what does it look like to raise your kid in front of an iPad their whole life versus a kid that grew up outdoors? So last week, Raquel was huckleberry picking with Ashley and your kids.
Yep.
They get a flat tire in our car coming back. They barely make it back to your house, and everyone's kind of stressed out. Like, oh man, I can't believe that happened. Like, what are we gonna do? Wyatt just emerges and is like, I got this. Like, what's going on?
Wyatt's 12, by the way.
Wyatt's 12.
Wyatt's 12. Yep.
He's like, let me do it. Let me fix it. Like, don't let dad know. Like, let me do it. And like, where's the tools? Like just jumped into action, like sprinted up to the garage. Within seconds, reemerged with all the tools. Like, and this was not an easy tire fix. This is a newer car. There's a whole system to get the spare tire to release.
It's a large vehicle.
Yep. He's like looking at it, quickly realizes it's not an obvious thing. He's like, I need YouTube. Someone get me YouTube. Looks on YouTube, like how to change tire, 2024 Suburban, and like was watching the YouTube, like messing with it. Gets the tire done, does the tire change like in minutes, and Raquel's on her way back.
Yep.
It's like the confidence of him. Like we were just out there and he was walking around, like he has like cowboy boots on, like shorts, like a cutoff t-shirt, like a mullet, just like he owns the place, dude. You meet a kid that grew up on an iPad that, is inside all day. It's like they're so meek and don't really talk, don't really look at you. If something like that was going down, they would just kind of try to back away, get out of that area so someone else could come fix it.
Yeah.
You don't produce people like that in front of an iPad.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for bringing that up. And I was so proud of him. And the irony of this whole story is I was literally a mile from our house rambling with my two younger kids. So that's where I was like when they got home and I didn't know where they were. I was actually, again, just working with my two, not even working, just hanging with my two younger kids, building that same capability in
Yeah.
giving them that gift of like that's what you're doing outdoors. You're problem solving, a
Yeah.
lot of the time. And so, thank you for telling that story because I was super proud of him. And I got back and he was like, "Yeah, I changed the tire." I'm like, "That was, quick." Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it's such a huge gift for both of us has been just spending time with your kids outdoors, and and it's not hard and it's not a lot of money either. That's
Yeah.
the other benefit of it, right? It's like, okay, for a little bit of gas to drive out somewhere and then spend
That's
some
true. It's
hours,
free. Yeah.
done.
Boat life is a different situation. We can cover that in separate episodes. That is very much a North Idaho thing. I
Hmm.
would not recommend boat life in certain other places of the country, but
Really?
well, I think like the hot lakes, you can get into trouble with like the parasites and stuff like that. Like in Texas, like you're not supposed to swim in the lakes.
Ever?
Well, because the water gets hot and it makes like parasites and like whatever that like eat your brain. You know what I'm talking
All right.
about?
Comment on this. I imagine that
No,
boat
dude.
life is alive and well in Texas, but if
I'm
you
sure
could
it's alive
ever,
and well, but I think it's also like you die if you like get some, like like this is the best boating. Like, I mean, I can't imagine a much better thing than the lakes we have here. So
yeah.
that's why we talk about it all the time.
I agree. But this brings up a good point, right? Which I do feel like there is kind of a psyop going around nowadays where it's just like there's ticks and there's like brain eating amoebas
Oh,
in
true.
water
Yeah,
and it's like and there's grizzly bears and like you could take any region
that's true.
and you could be like it's impossible for me to be outdoors, right? And really is that true or is that a cop out so that you can have your AC and your indoor Chipotle?
True. I didn't mean to perpetuate that.
I,
The
I
the
wasn't
the
I wasn't I
the,
wasn't mentioning you
the
specifically.
headline is that it's awesome. The lakes here are awesome, and that's why people visit. Like that's our main.
I don't agree at all, Sam. For the record, our lakes are really cold, and you visit somewhere else.
Oh, true. Yeah,
Colorado has
yeah. This
super
place is
nice
this place
lakes.
is a dump, dude. The lakes are disgusting. The
Yeah.
people are horrible. So
Let me recommend Colorado. They have beautiful lakes this time of year right
yeah,
here.
Montana's awesome too.
Yeah,
So
Montana's so sick.
all right,
Um,
let's call it a day on
right
this
on.
one.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for listening, guys. And actionable. We're always trying to create actionable stuff. Okay, so try and have a goal in the next week to take your kid out or your kids outdoors for a couple hours. Just start there, right? You don't need an agenda. There doesn't need to be anything other than drive, walk a little bit, find something cool. Sometimes kids like water, sometimes kids like views and rocks. It does not matter.
Yep.
Just have the homework be take your kids outdoors and turn your phone off, but have it on you just in case. But just spend time with them in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. And if you're not comfortable being outdoors, this is your chance to do that because if I can't imagine a parent that doesn't want their kids to be capable outdoors. What parent wouldn't want that? The chances of them doing that, if you're not, are low.
Oh,
So
100%. If you're not leading the way and if you're not leading the charge, then
yeah,
it will be a scary thing for them, and they will seek the indoors and they will seek comfort because it's unfamiliar to them.
dude, take them outside, no gear required. Then take your ass to REI, get some freaking boots or something, and get a backpack.
I mean, look, all guys like gear. This is an excuse to get you a little gear, if you don't have any gear. But again, just start with a couple hours outside, and I think you'll find that you really enjoy it. I know I did, and I still do it. Again, for 13 years now, I've been just like weekly taking my kids just randomly outside. Luckily, we live in a place now where I can just like leave from here and do it.
Yep.
But again, before I was driving. So anyway, yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but we appreciate you guys listening. And for you new dads out there, if you build this habit, I promise you, it will pay off in so many ways that you don't even know yet. Just spend time with them outdoors and get them comfortable outdoors, and you can start layering in things that you both enjoy outdoors. I mean, the options are endless, right? Like me and my family like to do this, this, and this outdoors. Other families like to do this, this, and this outdoors. Like it is limitless what you guys can get into if you guys are like more of an outdoor family.
Yep.
Cool. We'll
Cool.
catch you next time.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you.
See you guys.